All right, don't make fun of me for this kind of theory or how I express it, but truly, this is how you should run your business and how you should run your business to a T. So I don't know if I made this up, but I live by this when it comes to endeavoring in like a project, or somebody has something new that we need to make an investment in, whether it be a product or a program or something of value. And what the T theory is that usually what happens is somebody will get pitched an idea to use a product. Every organization is a product. If you're running a team, you use products. If you're an individual agent, you use products, or a loan officer. And what happens is there's a lot of products out there. The majority of people out there, the number one question they ask is, how much is this going to cost me? And I can tell you that, as crazy as this sounds, it's the last question I care to be answered is, how much is it going to cost me? Because the T theory is actually more important than the cost. And what the T theory is, it's time, effort, and energy. Those are the three components of the T theory. Because what I go to is, forget the cost. The cost is the cost, right? Like, people are always trying to cheap out and nickel and dime, when the reality is it's not even worth it. Like, the cost is the cost. If the value's there, the value's there. So I don't think about that first. I think about that last. My first questions is, I start with time. How much time is it going to take to implement this? And then from there, how much time do we have to monitor this thing in order to get it to where it can be successful? Time is important because it's not just my time. It's everyone else's time that's involved in the project. So I can't just be selfish and think, how much time is it going to take Jason to do this? How much time is it going to take the people that I have to pull into this and spend to get to a version 1, a version 2, and then a final version of it, and then from there, monitoring of it. So time is really important, because every minute I spend or my team spends on something, it's every minute they're pulled away from doing something else. And you got to pay for time. So time's important. So that's the T. The effort is important, because the effort is how much you're going to have to put into something. Like, time is the time spent, but the effort is, okay, this is my full focus now, right? Like, I got to make sure that I'm giving this project my all instead of focusing on 2 or 3 or 4 things. Or is this something that I can put effort into where I'm paying attention to this, twice a week? And what is my level of effort in order to get this done? Some things are harder than others. And so the effort portion is also part of the entire team coming into play. How much effort do I have to put in as the CEO? How much effort does my team have to put in for them? And then the last E is energy. And energy is like, people, you would say like energy is also effort, but it's not. The way I look at energy is, how much am I going to have to think about this? And that's mapping. Energy is all consuming. Think about things that you're always having to think about because it's still on your plate. Like, you're just not done yet. I work in tasks, so on my Google Doc, I just have everything that I'm trying to accomplish, where we're at, and things like that. And there's always tasks and checklists. And while things are on there, I'm still thinking about them because I haven't completed them yet. I mean, there's things why I say this that I know the minute I'm done with this video, I have to go back and see where I'm at, and then I gotta spend time thinking about how I'm gonna accomplish these things and where to begin. When you are laying in bed at night, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about that project? That's energy. Energy in a relationship. Like, how much energy am I having to put into this relationship? We want things to come easy, but obviously we all know that are married that marriage is hard. And you gotta put a lot of energy into it. You gotta put a lot of effort into it. And you gotta put a lot of time into it, right? That's the T theory. And I think relationships are very similar to business, very much. Before you decide to marry somebody, think of the T theory. Does this come easy? Does it come natural? Or, like, what is the time, effort, and energy I have to do in order to make this work? Is it too much? Is it just are they too much? It's the same thing when you talk about business. And is what I'm looking at worth the time, effort, and energy spent? Does it move the needle? Is it worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And then we talk about the cost. And the cost is the cost. Is that if I put these three components along with the cost, is it all worth it? Because what you'll find is that a lot of times that's where we have to become better as business owners, is understanding that not everything is worth venturing into. Not everything is worth the time, effort, and energy or the money. And a lot of times the priority, you can look at something and say, that's really great, I love that. I'm just not there right now. There's just other things that are more important than this right now. We always want to start something because we think it can be great, but the reality is not everything's worth starting. That's where we make notes of when I can get to this, then I can start thinking about it and or start to put some energy around this. But I'm not mentally there right now. You can only do so much. And consuming your mind and the energy of so many things leads to you not getting so many things to the finish line or completing them. And that's why there's so many things now that I've learned this over the course of years of being an entrepreneur that, one, I don't even take a lot of meetings anymore because it's not worth my time. And two, even if I see something I really like, it's very rare that I move forward on something because of the amount of time, effort, and energy it takes to get there, and we're working on other things. But if I really like it, I'll shelf it. And when I think it's time to fit that in, I'll go back to it. But it's very rare that we jump on something that we see right away because there's just other things that we're currently working in the pipeline to get to the finish line. So just always think about that. Like, cost is not the first question. I think cost is the last question. The first question is, how much effort, time, effort, and energy is it gonna take in order for me to see this thing through? And then what does it cost me? Try that theory, the T theory. I think it'll help you. I think it'll help a lot of you in the future.